Welcome to the What Is She Even Reading podcast.
I'm Claire, and I love to read.
I'm Jeremy, and I don't.
Join us each week as we read through some of today's most popular books as Jeremy discovers what is she even reading. Hello!
And welcome to
the first episode of What Is She Even Reading? I'm Claire.
I'm Jeremy.
And we're starting this podcast together. Yeah.
Yep. What's this podcast going to be about?
Books. Making my husband read the books that I read.
Yep. I'm going to have to read all these books.
So we're making this first episode to kind of give you a little background on who we are and like why we're starting it and how it's going to work. So, Jeremy, what's your background on reading?
Basically none. I don't typically enjoy it. It's not my favorite thing to do, particularly if I'm not learning something. I would always, spark note the books in school and would, manage to pass the tests that way, and it worked out for me, but I never really got much enjoyment out of reading because I always felt like I was forced to, and so I didn't want to do it in my free time. What about you?
I read all the time. I think I got into the Magic Treehouse books first. Then I read a lot of the Nancy Drew, all of the Hardy Boys, and then there are these Mandy mystery books, and got really into those. I like the mystery novels, obviously. And then in middle school, I got really into this series called the Christy Miller series. Loved those. All my friends read them. And then, I feel like I read The Hunger Games as a suggestion from my English teacher in high school, and I got into my dystopian book era. Love the dystopian novels. And
I didn't know you had a dystopian era.
I mean, that was kind of like the thing back in
that's true.
2011, 2012. Yeah. They were all dystopian books.
Yeah.
I even took a dystopian and utopia English class in college. That was really interesting.
Fancy.
But then I read ACOTAR in probably 2017, right? I don't remember when it came out, but then I kind of got into my fantasy romance era, and here we are, right?
Yep.
So why are we starting this podcast?
Because you want me to get reading these books to see what you're reading.
What caused that?
I think you were reading something in bed, and you got all shocked and gasped, and I was curious as to what you were reading.
Crescent City 2, the ending. If you know, you know.
Apparently that's a thing.
You'll come to discover it.
I suppose I will.
But you read ACOTAR.
I did read the first
book
one.
In ACOTAR.
Yes.
And
I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
What would you rank it out of 5 stars?
I mean, easily a solid 4, I'd say, at least, if not higher. I thought it was pretty good.
So I read Fourth Wing this year, as everyone did on Book Talk and Bookstagram.
Yeah.
And so I was like, ooh, he'll like this book, I think. So that's the book we're starting with, Fourth Wing, right?
Yep.
And we're going to read through it. I think we're working it out still, but it should be a couple chapters each week so you can read along with us, right?
Yep.
Get your boyfriend or your husband, girlfriend, whoever, your best friend.
Whomever you wish.
They can read along with us, and we're going to share the point of view from someone who loves to read, me, and how much I love this book, and someone who doesn't really enjoy reading, and the silliness that comes from someone who doesn't read these type of novels and their comments. So, right?
Yep.
So, in the first week it's going to be chapters 1 through 3. And then we're going to figure it out from there. We have to see how long each chapters are. But I'll try to release the schedule at some point. So, but there will be spoilers. We're not going to be spoiler free. So you should definitely read the book, or at least the chapters, before. There won't be any like spoilers for the end of the book in the first episode. If that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
There's only spoilers for those chapters.
Yeah.
And like your predictions, which may be right.
Maybe right. Maybe wildly wrong.
Terribly wrong, which they typically
will
are.
Probably be terribly wrong.
So, because you love Tamlin, so.
I did.
You know. But that's how it's going to work. And we'll do some book-related questions.
Okay.
What is your favorite genre of books?
Nonfiction.
Snooze.
Textbooks.
Snooze.
I know, nice and educational. Nice and nerdy. I was reading some today, even.
I like the fantasy. Fantasy romance is always good. I still do like the dystopian, so I would read a good dystopian if one came out recently.
Yeah. I did enjoy Animal Farm when I read that in 7th grade.
Yeah.
I think I could reread that as an adult.
Okay. Your favorite form of reading? Do you like ebook? Do you like a Kindle? Or do you like paperback, hardcover, audiobook?
Well, I've never used a Kindle, but I have read books on my phone before for school a long time ago, and that was okay. But I generally enjoy just the paper book. Hardback, hardback feels a little more premium. But sometimes, electronic copy is nice for certain things. You can search for things that you're looking for.
Well, that's if you're using a textbook.
In the textbook realm.
I like a Kindle, but purely for the ease of it, because I can read on my phone.
It's nice and portable.
Yeah, but also if I read a good book, I want the physical copy of it. Yeah. So I like to collect my books.
A trophy of sorts.
Mm-hmm. But only the good ones, not the nonsense ones. But okay, do you have a favorite author?
No.
Yeah, I
do you?
I like the Sarah J. Maas because I like all her books.
Right.
So, do you have a favorite book?
Not particularly. I haven't read enough with not being under duress, like in school, to have developed a favorite. Do you have a favorite book?
My favorite series.
Which one?
Well, I've talked about ACOTAR a lot, but that one. I liked The Selection. It was a pretty decent back in the day. I haven't read it recently. There's a book series, Cinder, The Lunar Chronicles. That one's pretty interesting. A little weird, but pretty decent.
Never heard of that.
Well, it's classic fairy tales retold in a dystopian world. But in the first book, it's about Cinderella, it's Cinderella. And, spoiler, the girl is a cyborg. Yeah, very interesting.
Maybe
it's pretty good. You need a good series.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's it.
Okay.
What are you currently reading?
I suppose Fourth Wing is on deck. What are you reading?
Reading the third book in Throne of Glass, whatever that's called. And I'm reading One Dark Window and yeah, I feel like that's it right now. Fourth Wing again because of this.
You gotta keep up with me.
Yeah, I gotta read it again.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for listening to our introductory episode.
And stay tuned for our first real episode next week, or this week, of Fourth Wing, chapters 1 through 3. And yeah. Bye.
Bye.